Good evening, everyone. I'm here today to show you how to do this very valuable skill. It is making banana bread. Making banana bread is super useful. Everyone, me in particular, has a whole bunch of bananas in the refrigerator that look like this. I took these out because they were especially disgusting, but honestly, the darker they are, the sweeter they are, and the more banana flavor you will get with your bread. If you want to come over here, I'm going to show you inside my freezer. I do have a bunch of other bananas. I will reserve them for future loaves of banana bread. I don't want to get too far of myself here, but I did, like I said, want to show you how to make banana bread. Making banana bread is super easy. Unlike other types of baking that's more refined, you don't have to really mix together the dry ingredients first and then the wet ingredients and then mix them all together. You can mix it all in one giant bowl and it will turn out just fine. So let's take a look at what we'll need. So I have 1 stick of softened butter. We'll see if I need to soften it anymore. It seems pretty soft, but I do need to make sure that it will mix easily into the rest of the mixture. 1 cup of white sugar. I have some sugar here. 2 eggs, which I wanted to keep them as fresh as possible, so I waited till the last minute to take them out of the refrigerator. By the way, these eggs are farm fresh eggs. From Paul and Darlene Brocky's farm. They raise chickens and their eggs are pretty delicious. So I'll need 2 of these babies. I guess they kind of are babies, sort of, I guess. So I will also need the main ingredient, the linchpin, if you will, of the banana bread. These babies, these 3 overripe, they are very overripe bananas. I will also need 2 cups of all-purpose flour. I almost filmed this and I forgot that I bought this. I was afraid that I didn't have flour, but I was happy to see this. And 1 teaspoon baking soda. Those are my ingredients. It really doesn't matter what brand of baking soda you use, in my opinion. The store brand is just as good as Arm & Hammer. Okay. So moving on, let's see what we'll have to do to make banana bread. Okay, but before I do that, there are some optional ingredients. I'm not going to actually use any of these, but depending on what you want in your banana bread, if you want like a banana bread with more substance, you can include walnuts if you like, you can include chocolate chips, you can include raisins, and if you're over 21, you can also soak it in rum. It's absolutely delicious, like the banana and the rum flavor together, but don't be doing that unless you're well over 21. Okay, let's see. All right, I have some other things too that I wanted to show you. I have a large bowl, the kind of bowl you mix things in. Okay, I have a bread pan, and this is a ceramic bread pan. They also have glass bread pans and metal bread pans. Be careful because the metal bread pans conduct heat much faster and easier than either the ceramic or the glass bread pans. Okay, let's see. Cooking spray. I'm going to use that to spray into my bread pan so my banana bread doesn't stick. And an oven. Okay, it's right behind me. And a spatula. Okay, I have that too. There are a couple things that normally people have when they're baking that I don't have here, and you'll see why. All right, and sometimes I don't even use most of the stuff that I have here, but I'm trying to set a good example. So do as I say, not as I do. All right, so first of all, let's see what exactly to do. Okay, so first of all, make sure your hands are clean. I just washed my hands. They still smell like lavender soap. Make sure you wash them, especially during COVID. I believe the rule of thumb, so to speak, is to sing happy birthday while you're washing your hands, and make sure you wash your thumbs also. A lot of people neglect their thumb when they're washing their hands. preheat the oven to 375. Well, let me do that. Okay. All right. 375, and there we go. Let's wait for that to preheat a little bit. Okay, so while the oven is preheating to 375, I'm going to mix all the ingredients in the large bowl, all right? But because I have a very, very poor memory, I need to go back to the last slide to remember my ingredients. So I'm gonna go ahead and do that. Okay, so I have my butter. I'm feeling it a little, fondling it, if you will. It's pretty soft, which is a nice thing for butter. So I'm gonna plop that in the bowl. Okay, I'm gonna plop that in the bowl, right? And I'm gonna keep a towel here, just to kind of, you know, so if my hands get greasy, it'll be harder for me to do the things that I wanna do as far as baking is concerned. Okay, 1 cup white sugar. So let me put some white sugar in here, 1 cup. Okay. By the way, if you're wondering, the difference between white sugar and brown sugar is that brown sugar goes through less of a refining process. Okay, and it's very closely related to molasses. So I have my sugar in there. Okay. Let's see, what else do we have? All right, 2 eggs. Look at these beautiful eggs, fresh from the farm, fresh from the Brocky farm. I've always been super envious of people who can crack an egg with 1 hand. I've never been able to do that before in my life. No matter how hard I try, I always end up getting a bit of the shell in the egg. Okay, so let's see. The overripe bananas are next. The overripe bananas are next. Okay. Usually I don't let people see this step because it's disgusting. But like I said, they look disgusting, but when baked in banana bread, they really are delicious. And this is sort of gonna look like an eel or a snail or something like that. I'm just gonna kind of gently squeeze it out, and it's gonna go bloop, bloop. All right, and here's another one. Right. All right, there's another one. Okay, and my 3rd one is coming right up. All right, and that's it for the bananas. All right, that's what we have so far. Let's see what's next. Okay, the flour is next. The flour is next, and we need 2 cups of all-purpose flour. All right, so I have my all-purpose flour. It actually says all-purpose flour right on the label. How many cups is that? Oh, 2 cups. 2 cups. Let me count. 2 cups of all-purpose flour. 1 and 2. Okay. And, oh look, oh my goodness, look, the oven is preheated to 375. It took almost exactly as long as it did to gather up most of the ingredients in the bowl. But I do want to show you something. Okay, and I'm going to need to put my glasses on to see this. Getting old as hell. The last thing I need to do is 1 teaspoon of baking soda. Okay, let me move these other things out of the way for a second. 1 teaspoon of baking soda, and I want to show you guys a trick. Okay, watch this. Okay, usually when I'm baking, especially if it's banana bread and it's pretty unrefined, this is actually a teaspoon. If you put your hand like this and kind of cup it, like you're, I don't want to say slap somebody across the face, because if you slap somebody across the face like this, you might break your hand. But anyway, all right, let me show you this. Okay. And actually, that's a little bit too much there. Okay, and okay, and watch this. Watch this. All right. That is pretty much almost exactly a teaspoon. So I'm going to plop that in there as well. Okay. I learned to do these things because I really hate doing dishes. I love to eat and I love to cook, but whenever I cook, I try to use as few dishes as possible and cook as I go. It just makes things easier. All right, let's go ahead. Okay, all right. Let's see. Okay, so we're at the step where I mix them together. I have washed my hands, so I'm just going to mix them together with my hands. All right. Okay. Oh, good. I have my spatula. For a second, I thought I forgot it. All right. And I'm just using my hands, and it's sort of gross. It feels kind of unusual too. I don't want to describe it as gross, but it's sort of unusual. All right. I did forget to do one really, really important thing. So after I mix this, I probably should have thought to spray the bread loaf pan first, but I didn't. So I'm going to finish mixing this up. And by the way, it's okay if you have a little bit of flour on the edge. It's all right. That's kind of normal. And again, this is a pretty unrefined recipe. It's hard to screw it up. Okay, I'm going to try to remove as much dough as possible from my hands. All right, now I'm going to wash them. Or at least I'm going to rinse the dough off of my hands. Okay. Again, do what I say, not what I do. Make sure you read all the instructions in order, so you can avoid having dough all over your hands when you have to grab something else. Okay, so I'm going to spray the pan. I don't remember if I said this or not before, but you can also grease your pan with flour and butter. Like you put the butter in the pan and then you put flour in it and you kind of shake it around. It gives it kind of a flavor of roux. But anyway, let me go ahead and plop this stuff in here. The batter looks pretty nice. The batter looks nice. It should be this consistency. It doesn't have to be perfectly smooth. It's really okay if it is not perfectly smooth, if it has some lumps. Okay, it's really okay. It'll turn out in the end. Okay, so I'm going to try to scrape all the dough, be as efficient as possible. I don't know, I haven't licked the bowl of anything since I was a little kid, since I heard about salmonella and whatnot. I mean, sometimes it's not fun when, you learn factual things that keep you from enjoyment of things. Okay? No one should be eating raw eggs, that's for sure. All right, so I'm gonna go ahead and bake it for 45 to 50 minutes, okay? I'm gonna tell you a trick, and I'm actually gonna shut the camera off while it's baking, okay? So, we're not all sitting around the oven waiting for the bread to bake. So I'm gonna put it in here. Usually you want the center rack. The center rack is usually where it's at. Also, please make sure you use oven mitts. But anyway, I do have a trick. Okay, so sometimes when I'm making banana bread myself, it turns out too dry. And you may insert whatever joke you like there. I paused especially for you to do that. It turns out very dry. Okay, so I'm supposed to bake it. I'm supposed to bake it for 45 to 50 minutes. I usually start checking it around 40 minutes in, and sometimes I shut the oven off and I let the loaf bake with the residual heat. And it seems to turn out really well that way. It seems to be nice and moist. All right, guess what time it is? It's almost banana bread time. 5, 4, 3, 2, and I skipped 1 and 0. Woo! Okay, let's have a look to see. Okay, let's have a look at this. Oh my, Len, I've got a puppy coming in who's about to burn herself on the oven. She's really cute. Yeah, she's an adorable puppy. But make sure also when you're baking that you try to avoid having puppies, cats, small children with you. Let's take a look at this loaf of banana bread. Let's take a look over here. Let's take a look. It looks actually really, really good. It's got the golden brown outside. It's got a little bit of crispiness on the outside, and it looks like the center is going to be nice and moist and soft. Okay, so instead of throwing out those old bananas that seem useless, they're not useless. Just put them in the freezer, and you can make banana bread if you want, and you can have like something delicious to eat within an hour. You can eat banana bread with vanilla ice cream, butter, cream cheese, all kinds of things. And again, I just want you to see this magnificent creation of banana bread. So, ladies and gentlemen, again, don't you throw those black bananas away, because you could create this with those.